This is All India Radio. In the program Spotlight now, we bring you a discussion on PM Kisan Scheme and welfare of farmers. The participants are Ashok Tandon, political analyst, and Nilab Srivastav, journalist.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi today released the latest installment of over rupees 18,000 crore funds to more than 9 crore farmers of the country under the provisions of the Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi scheme. This scheme was initiated in December 2018 and financial benefit of rupees 6,000 per year in 3 installments is provided to small and marginal farmers. The fund is transferred directly to the bank accounts of the beneficiaries. After releasing the funds through an online mode, the Prime Minister first talked to some of the farmers based in various states and sought to know how they have benefited from this scheme and what are their expectations. The event was also attended by officials of the Agriculture Ministry, including the Cabinet Minister, Mr. Narendra Singh Tomar. While Mr. Tomar outlined the welfare measures taken by his ministry for the farming community, the PM spelled out the policy initiatives, the intent of the government, and the importance of the 3 new farm laws that have been brought by his government to help farmers in enhancing their income and also making farming beneficial. Now, the event comes at a time when some farmer associations have been protesting against the 3 new acts at the borders of the national capital for close to a month now, and the Prime Minister reiterated that the new laws are aimed to empower the farmers, protect their produce, and that the government was always open for resolution by way of talks based on facts and logic. Mr. Tandon.
Today was the birth anniversary of late Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee, and the government took advantage of this solemn occasion and tried to reach out directly to the farmers. And the method chosen was very unique. Top leaders of the government, like the Home Minister, Mr. Amit Shah, the Defence Minister, Mr. Rajnath Singh, and Road Transport Highway Minister, Mr. Nitin Gadkari, and other ministers like Smriti Irani, they fanned out to various parts of the country and organized Kisan Panchayats, in a way, physical rally of the farmers. And first, these leaders explained to the farmers about the benefits of the laws which have been enacted and also what the welfare measures the government has been taking over the last 6 years. And then towards the end, Prime Minister directly spoke to all of them. He addressed farmers across the country, right from Shillong to Assam, Tamil Nadu, Madhya Pradesh, and all regions. And then it was a direct dialogue by the Prime Minister with not only the farmers but also with the people of India. And today's nationwide address by the Prime Minister through, of course, video conferencing and direct live telecast by most of the channels. So that method which the Prime Minister today chose to interact directly with the farmers and the people of India was in itself a very unique event. And then when he was interacting with the farmers who have benefited from the Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi, they gave feedback to the Prime Minister and whole the country watched how the farmers have benefited. But I think the major takeaway of today's event was Prime Minister appealing to the agitating farmers. Repeatedly and with full respect, Prime Minister said that we are open for dialogue. Whatever needs to be discussed, please do come to the negotiating table. And he explained at great length each and every demand of the farmers, gave a reply to them, and assured the nation, particularly the farmers, that there is no doing away with the MSP. Mandis will remain. In fact, he gave figures and statistics to show that these 3 laws have been enforced for quite some time. And in the meantime, bumper procurement has taken place on the MSP. Meanwhile, MSP has been enhanced. Farmers are getting benefit. And in spite of all that, if there is any still doubt left in the minds of the farmers, the government is willing to have a dialogue. I think one of the major demands of the farmers has been that the Prime Minister has not said anything about it and the Prime Minister himself is not giving any assurance. So today the Prime Minister gave, I think, sort of an unconditional assurance that nothing is going to happen, whether it is MSP, whether it is mandis, and farmers can sell their produce anywhere in the world through the mandis, through MSP, through the trader, whatever they want to do. I don't think such categorical assurance ever come from the top level. I personally feel that now the farmers have no case to continue the agitation. At least Now they should come back to the negotiating table. One thing was quite clear today. The Prime Minister was unsparing in his attack on the opposition parties who are trying to take political advantage of the agitation. And he was very, very critical of the West Bengal government, which he said is not allowing 70 lakh farmers to take advantage of the Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi. He said the money has to go from the center. 23 lakh farmers of Bengal have applied online to take advantage of the scheme. But Mamata government has stopped the verification process for so long. So he was very critical of the West Bengal government because he said people who have been ruling West Bengal, who have not done anything in West Bengal for the welfare of the farmers, are now joining the farmers of Punjab against these laws. And similarly also criticized without naming any party. Particularly he was very critical of the left party who have ruled Bengal for 30 years and did nothing, and now they are trying to show solidarity with the farmers in Punjab. And similarly, he was quite critical of the Congress party also. He said these are the parties who were advocating all these measures which this government has taken, but now they have taken a U-turn and they are now joining the farmers without knowing what exactly the government has done. So today was a very historic day in that sense. Prime Minister, for more than 45 minutes, he reached out to the farmer, explained each and every aspect of these laws and the scheme, particularly the Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi Yojana, which has benefited thousands and thousands of people. And he said there are no middlemen. And he, without naming Rajiv Gandhi's famous quote that we send 100 rupees from Delhi and it reaches only 11 rupees to the farmer. Today he said the entire 100 rupees are reaching straight away into the farmer's bank account.
Two very important points, Mr. Tandon, I would mention, where he spoke about that the three new laws will ensure, while the farmers are concerned that their produce is jeopardized or their income or their assurance of produce goes away, he says that after these laws, the agreement doer who goes to purchase from the farmer, that the risk is on his part and the return is going to be of the farmer. So the situation is reversed now. And in the same breath, he also said that the recent elections, various elections in the panchayats and district councils have happened. And he said that at these places, the large percentage is of the villagers and farmers. And I think that is where the Prime Minister says he has got a message and the mandate.
Certainly, he was right in pointing out that wherever the local body or panchayat elections have been held, these parties have been rejected. But he said that now they are trying to push their political agenda. That is exactly where he was hitting the nail on the head. At the same time, he said that some people are spreading myths and lies, that their land will be taken away if farmers enter into any contract farming. He assured that no corporate can snatch away any farmer's land. And he said as long as Modi is the Prime Minister, he can assure. In fact, today, Amit Shah also, Mr. Rajnath Singh also, repeatedly assured. Mr. Amit Shah said that no corporate can snatch away any farmer's land as long as Narendra Modi is the Prime Minister. And when he was talking to a farmer, particularly from Madhya Pradesh, he has received about 10,000 rupees under the Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi. And under the new farm law, he said, now we can sell our farm produce to any private businessman, organization. Then he said, this year I sold 85 quintal soya bean to ITC, farmer told the Prime Minister. Then the Prime Minister again was in a very appealing mood. He said, I urge all the farmers to tell their colleagues about the Kisan credit card scheme and various benefits which are available by way of loan, etc. And speaking at a rally, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh said that all problems can be resolved through dialogue. And PM wants talks with the farmers to continue. All these leaders, wherever they were addressing the farmers, they were appealing to the farmers and see reason. Overall, if we say, today was basically Prime Minister and other NDA government leaders' direct dialogue with the farmers, reaching out to farmers. So the BJP today organized massive event. All the doubts were clarified by the Prime Minister. So there is no reason why now the farmers lament. So I think the best course for the agitating farmers is to return to the negotiating table and also get resolved all the pending issues which might be agitating their minds.
After taking a feedback with the farmers that you mentioned, he talked to some of them. The Prime Minister went on to speak about the policy measures that his government from the first term itself in 2014 they have started. And then repeatedly the Prime Minister has stressed, this time also he said that the MSP system, the Mandi system is going to stay. This is not going to change with the 3 new farm laws. And the Prime Minister made it a point to underline the fact that the farmer can sell to anyone, can produce anything, and there is no arm twisting that can happen after the 3 farm laws come into force. And that is the biggest concern of the farmers when they allege that the corporates may take away their produce, their income, or the surety of an income. So I think these 3 points, time and again Prime Minister has spoken. I think today also he, at least twice or thrice, he did mention about this. Mr. Tandon, please take us through this.
Certainly, Prime Minister said that according to the long-standing Swaminathan Committee, the government has given 1.5 times the cost of MSP farmers. Earlier, MSP was available only on a few crops, and the government has increased their number, and now the government is moving in the direction that the farmer should have not only a market but a new market to sell its crop. More than 1,000 agricultural mandis of the country are online. Among them, more than 1 lakh crore rupees have been traded. What else explanation do you need? He said that government made another goal to form groups of small farmers so that they can work as a collective force in their own region. And a campaign is underway to create more than 10,000 farmers producers associations, FPO in the country, and financial assistance is being given to them. Today the farmers of the country is getting his pakka house, he is getting toilets, he is getting clean tap water. All these welfare measures are in the larger interest of the agriculture sector, and he said that free treatment up to 5 lakh rupees under the Ayushman Bharat scheme has reduced the major concern of the farmer's life. Through other agriculture reforms, the government has given better options to the farmer. After these laws, they can sell their produce to whomsoever they want, wherever they want. They can sell to other states also. So I think this kind of assurance coming from the Prime Minister himself is a big breakthrough which the agitating farmers must, I think, ponder over and respond positively.
Coming back to the political motives, the Prime Minister for a good length of time spoke about the kind of double talk that the opposition or different other governments have done. While they were in power, they advocated for such laws to come. This time he says now with these protests starting by certain organizations was about MSP and the mandis, and then it deterred into unrelated demands like release of those accused of violence in the highways toll-free. And the Prime Minister, as you mentioned about the West Bengal particularly, he mentioned that 70 lakh estimated farmers couldn't get the benefit of this scheme. And under this scheme, he said that rupees 1,10,000 crore of funds have already reached in the last 2 years, since December 2018. So the kind of politics that the Prime Minister is not only indicating but also mentioning very clearly that we need to back these laws. Every political party shouldn't jump into just because for the sake of opposition. That politics, Mr. Tandon, also the Prime Minister addressed for a good length of time during this speech today.
Certainly, he said that when Mr. Sharad Pawar was the agriculture minister, he was advocating the same thing, and UPA government itself was advocating these measures, but now suddenly they have taken a U-turn just because they have politics or political agenda in their mind. Because some of these political parties are frustrated because of the way they have been losing confidence of the people in election after election. So they think that they can now mobilize themselves if they can jump the bandwagon of this farmers' agitation, which the Prime Minister said they will not succeed. But he was very critical of Mamata Banerjee government. He said she has destroyed West Bengal. They are playing politics by stopping farmers from their own rights. So that way, today's Prime Minister's speech did carry political message also. At the same time, he was trying to reach out to the farmer, explaining each and every aspect of the initiatives which have been taken over the last 6 years, plus the new laws. And then, repeatedly, again, he was telling them that we are open and we can have discussions. The issues will be resolved soon. So he's still hopeful that the farmers will see reason and get back to the negotiating table. I think this appeal coming from the Prime Minister must have a positive impact on the agitating farmers.
We hope that the impasse between the agitating farmers and the central government comes to an end very soon. Thank you, Mr. Tandon.
Thank you very much.
You were listening to a discussion on PM Kisan Scheme and welfare of farmers. The participants were Ashok Tandon, political analyst, and Nilabh Srivastav, journalist. This program was produced and presented by the News Services Division of All India Radio. You can listen to it on our mobile app, News on AIR. This program is also available on our website, newsonair.com. You may email your opinion about this program at airnsttalks@gmail.com.